Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Sunday, May the 29th, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by the legend herself. She's on the road. She's still plugging in. We weren't expecting this really, so it's a surprise podcast, but a bonus one. It is Miss Deb Lutz. Deb, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for indulging me, Coach, and letting me sleep an extra half hour this morning.
No problem. I know when you're on the road and traveling, tough getting a good night's sleep in a different bed.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah. I was up late watching Joe Musgrove, mow him down, only to lose.
I know. Strange. He pitched well enough to win that one, but no dice. But what are you going to do? But anyway, we've got this crazy game 7. I mean, I've been warning every game this series. Don't count them out. Don't count this one out. But I finally gave in with everybody else this last game and said, I think, Boston should close this out. But here we are. We had a Herculean effort by Mr. Jimmy Butler. I'm telling you, man, I think that's one of those like top teners you remember playoff performances, like the Jordans and all the different ones through the years. I mean, unbelievable.
He carried them. That was unreal. I mean, he pulled out and here's the thing. I mean, Jimmy Butler's, he's done this in the playoffs now. I mean, it's funny, nobody talks about him. No. And if you look at some of these playoff games that he's pulled off, particularly given how he plays during the year, it's just a totally different level. I mean, MJ, LeBron, I mean, they bring it, all throughout the season. But this he just kicks into a whole other gear in the playoffs.
It's crazy.
Playoff Jimmy, yeah.
It's like he has a switch that he flips. It's just totally mental with him. He misses a lot of games during regular seasons too. I just don't think he's in the right mental space sometimes to play. I mean, he's that interesting of a guy. I think he's either just got to be totally full board or just he's not totally focused. So
well, he's focused now. So, and if there's ever a chance for him to be focused. And also, like I said, Lowry brought it. I mean, I said this is his last chance.
Call there.
So he's gotta, So I think the question is, can they collaborate and do it again?
I mean, I don't know how anybody predicts this game with any confidence. That's for sure. Because it's everything that's gone up. It's like the opposite series, right?
Yeah, totally, 100%.
No doubt about it. Well, we're fired up and we're ready to take some stuff down. This is a bonus game we didn't think we'd have. So let's set the stage here for this one. First of all, it's interesting because Boston is the favorite on the road. They're favored by 3 in Vegas. It's a very low 195.5 total. Haven't seen both teams under 100 implied total in the playoffs till now. So they're expecting a real battle defensively and everything else. Boston is their implied total is 99.25. Miami's is 96.25. And then we have, of course, as we have this entire series to make it even more difficult, we have a bunch of questionable players. So for Boston, Marcus Smart and Robert Williams are questionable. So those matter. Sam Hauser's actually questionable today. So, that's interesting that he's not eliminated, but that's okay. And then for Miami, Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker, Tyler Hero, and Gabe Vincent, all questionable. So let's start where we always start, Deb. Who's in, who's out, in your opinion, or is it like a full go for everybody?
I wish we had news on Hero. He's the only one that I just don't know about. Otherwise, full go. I mean, this is lay it out on the line, play with a broken leg kind of situation.
I agree. I think everybody's in, and Hero I think may even play, but that's the one we really do need to know the news on because he was completely out that last game. And that's important news because it really does affect the rotation, and it brings guys, takes guys out of play really that I wouldn't consider if he does play Gabe Vincent and,
Oladipo.
Oladipo. Yeah. So we need to get that news. I'm sure we'll have it. The game's not until 8:30 tonight. So that's really, to me, the only concrete news that we're waiting on.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's look at that last game and it's too fantastic not to review on Jimmy Butler's stance. Okay, so here it is, Deb. Here's a guy that's not that young anymore. I mean, he's still in his prime, but he's been around. 46 minutes, 16 for 29 from the field. He goes 4 for 8 from 3, makes all 11 foul shots, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 steals, and a block, and only 1
Unreal.
turnover. 47
Unreal.
real points. You're hard pressed to find a game like that very often.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I mean, So what does he have left in the tank?
Well, the question is, does he have anything left? I mean, you're going to have a home crowd. It's a game 7 in the conference finals. You don't see those a lot. If he does have anything in the tank, I think he's going to find it, because this is it. His surrounding core, you made a great call in Kyle Lowry stepping up. He still was only 5 for 14 from the field, but he hit some huge threes down the stretch. 4 for 9 from 3, hit all 4 foul shots, 10 assists too. And he got almost 37 minutes, which is massive for Kyle Lowry. So the key with him is, are you expecting that back again from Lowry? Is he a key play for you today?
Yeah, he is. I mean, I think particularly if Hero's out, they can't do it without Lowry. Adebayo is like evaporated into nothing, and they need another guy. And like I said last time, I mean, he's just he's more of a floor leader. He's going to distribute the ball. I mean, getting 10 assists. They're moving the ball around more, and I think he's definitely a key play for me again tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he's won a championship. He gets it. So that means a lot to them. And man, he was really demonstrative in the huddle, coaching and talking to the guys as well. You got to love his spirit out there. I mean, there's no doubt. I'll tell you though, I think to me as a DFS player in basketball, just junkie, I'm still amazed that Bam Adebayo he had that one great game when we were on him. So I thank him for that. But I just can't believe that this guy's game has faltered. Do you think he's hurt?
No, not anymore. Right. Not after that other performance. I just think that they, he did, I mean, 2 things in the last game. Number one, he turned the ball over a ton. He had 4 turnovers, and it just seemed like he was always turning it over. And then the second thing is, for some reason, they're just not even going to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they feel like, Robert Williams' defense is just too tough, but he only took 6 shots.
Unbelievable.
So, the question is, does, Spoelstra, change up the game plan and rely on him? Can you rely on him? Or do they just stick with, what they did previously, and more on the outside shot, more on the perimeter?
Yeah.
That's going to be the key to figuring this out. And I just don't know.
You're exactly right. Because really, Bam has had a bad playoffs all the way. It's not just in this series. But man, the only game he did well, Robert Williams was out. So I do think Robert Williams is a tremendously elite defender and a future first team all defensive player. And I do think that's affected him to another level. And I expect Robert Williams to play. So, I mean, it's hard to go to Bam with the level he's playing at, and the fact that he's just not a part of what they're doing.
Yeah, the only other game that he did decently, which was the 2 games ago, taking a look at it right now, was the game where Butler wasn't quite right. So they had to rely on Bam.
Yeah.
So, I agree. If they don't have to rely on him, I don't think they're going to him.
And it's key. I mean, I think people that think he can throw another big game in there, and that he's due because he's had one or two, especially the one huge game. I mean, whether you play him or not, I agree with you 100%. I think he's the key. I just don't think I'm going to go there personally. I was Max Strus seemed to get his stroke back a little bit. 5 for 12 isn't exactly on fire, but it's good enough considering he had missed 14 threes in a row.
Yeah.
But his peripherals were terrible. I mean, PJ Tucker is okay. Caleb Martin off the bench played a little bit. Oladipo did okay. But if you look at from a DFS perspective, you look at that game, everybody sort of stunk
That's it.
except Butler.
Stunk. Exactly.
Yeah. So how do
Exactly.
you, I mean, where are you leaning here?
Yeah, you're going to have to, you're going to have to fit some guys in, right? Because, if you want Butler, if you want Tatum, really across the board on both sides, a lot of the players stunk. And, it's going to be a defensive battle. So we'll probably see that again. You need those one or two guys that are going to light it up. Yeah. And I think the other challenge is the benches are short. They'll be as short as ever in this game.
Right.
And because of that, you can't go after a Caleb Martin at 1,200 or even a Grant Williams is unreliable. So you got to figure out a way to squeeze them all in. So I'll probably play around with captain and get somebody a little less expensive in the captain position so that I can try and fit in a couple of the key guys. But on the Miami side, I still like Lowry. You mentioned Strus. I do like Strus. He's going to put up a lot of shots. He's going to play a lot of minutes. And you just hope that he's, gotten out of his funk, as shooters do, right? He's in and out of his shooter's funk.
And he can get hot too. So it goes both ways.
And I like Tucker too. Again, he's going to play a ton of minutes. He's the cheapest guy out. He's the cheapest guy that I'll put in my lineup.
Yeah. He's efficient. He did have big foul trouble too. So he probably would have played a good 10 minutes more than he did. So Tucker's definitely high on my list too. And I never thought I'd say that either, but we're in a bizarre situation here.
It's totally bizarre.
And
Butler's my number one guy though. I will play Butler. Butler's my number one guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Butler. I don't know how you fade Butler. How? Unless
you think Boston's gonna really shut them down and win. Yeah. No, I agree.
It's just impossible. But I do need the hero news though, because that really does change a lot for me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Butler, Tucker, Strus, Lowry, probably the top go-to guys for me too. And then just trying to figure out that combination. But no confidence in anybody else. Oladipo does get key minutes down the stretch. So I guess if you're going to dig in the bench, he'd be the guy to consider.
He's not even that cheap anymore, though. So
that's the problem.
At that point, I'd rather go Strus. I think Strus is a little bit more, but it's tough.
I don't know why they priced him up so much.
Yeah, well, he had a couple of good games, I guess. They thought he's definitely an offensive weapon when he's in there, but I think he's also a little bit more like garbage time offensive weapon.
Or I agree. And then it looks like we've got 6, maybe 7, like you said. Grant Williams just sort of on the outside looking in, only 17 minutes. But really, you have Tatum, Horford, Williams, Brown, Smart, and White. The big thing will be, do you go back to, everybody's going to probably go to White again. Is somebody sharpening a pencil or making a smoothie?
I think that's a good question. Yeah. Oh, I think they're making an espresso. I'm here in a hotel lobby, so I think there's an espresso going. I can't believe you can hear that. Wow. Sorry about that.
Yeah. I could go for an espresso. Order one for me, would you? So let's look at the minutes this last game. Tatum 45, Horford 32, Williams 26, Brown 41, Smart 40, Derek White 32, and then Williams 17. So, Tatum obviously only 12 shots, but 9 for 12, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. I know it's tough financially to get all these guys in, but Tatum and Butler, I would assume most people are going to use as their captain. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think you're going to get very high ownership in the captain's position, but if you put them in the captain's position, you can only play one of them.
I know
So
that.
that's going to be the choice.
Or you
Do you,
go hope to get a guy off the bench. I mean, there's a couple
yeah,
of ways you can go that way, but
there are a couple. There are a couple of ways.
I mean,
But
again, maybe the strategy for a lot of people will go, get one of these 30-minute people like Tucker or Smart or whatever, put them in the captain, and then play both Tatum and Butler. I guess there's two schools of thought of which way you can go there.
yeah,
But my question to you, Deb, is can you get enough? Can you win it without a giant Tatum or Butler game in the captain spot if those two are the main guys?
yeah, it's a great. Well, again, if they really are the two main guys, and each of them have blowout, 60-point game plus games. I think you can get it by playing both of them, and not having either in the captain spot. It's only if one of them has a great game and the other one has an average game, you need that one in the captain spot. So
Yeah.
it really depends. Is Tatum gonna? I mean, Tatum did have a great game, and he played 45 minutes, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But like you said, he only took 12 shots. The shots were pretty evenly distributed. I mean, White took more shots than he did.
I know, it's incredible.
So,
Smart led them. He had
yeah,
15 shots,
yeah.
14 for White. And if you'd have told me Smart and White would combine for more shots than Tatum and Brown, I would have said you were crazy.
Like, no way. Right. Exactly.
No way. Yeah. And they
So,
did. And it was spread around, but I think
but
a lot of
Tatum
those
gets
shots.
so many. Yeah, Tatum gets so many peripherals too, right? I mean,
He
that's
does.
the other piece.
Plus, I think a lot of those shots go back to Tatum and Brown personally.
Yeah, I think so. I think so as well. I think the big question is White, right? I mean, he's played exceptionally well this whole series,
Yeah.
and if he can pull off another solid game. And I think I said in the last pod, I mean, the one area of the Miami defense that doesn't concern me as much is that backcourt. I think that's so. I think White has a good shot to repeat that. He's someone that I am going to focus on. He's the only guy off the bench for Boston that I'll be looking at.
And for me, that's going to be my differentiators. I'm going to fade White today. I think he maxed out his performance. I don't know if I don't think he gets the 33 minutes personally. I know they like to go small ball and sit Williams, but I don't know. You got to find somewhere to differentiate. And White's not dirt cheap anymore either.
No, it's not.
So
well, the big question, I think the big question it comes down to, part of why they relied so heavily on White, even though Smart played 40 minutes, he couldn't shoot. I think he was 1 of 9.
Yeah, 1 for 9 from 3.
1 for 9 from 3. So they needed White. So the question is Smart still injured? And therefore, his shot's just not right, and they need White. So
he has
that's
games though where he shoots poorly and bounces back, and I think he's okay. I mean, would they have played him almost 41 minutes? If I would think he's such a gamer. I think I'm going to go back to him over White, but the big dilemma is the Horford Williams. I'm talking Robert Williams. Which one of those everybody's going to run from Al Horford because he had a bad game, 1 for 8.
Right.
But you certainly can't count him out. I mean, I think he's a good sneaky play. And, in my GPP, I may use him as captain, Deb, as crazy as that sounds, because I think he gets double-digit rebounds today.
Yeah, I like it. I like, Williams, they don't play him the minutes. Right. They're still keeping him, under 30.
25-ish.
Yeah. So I think that limits his upside. And I think I agree with you. I think Horford's a sneaky play. He's going to, again, old guy, looking to get a ring, he's going to bring it. So I agree. Definitely.
This is very likely his last true shot. So
yeah.
He's gonna give it, and they don't seem to be afraid to play him decent minutes either. So
I like it. I like him as the captain. It'd be interesting to see who you can fit in with that.
Yeah, well, obviously that would hopefully be a path for Tatum, and but we're not talking about Jaylen Brown. Let's that's the
Yeah,
one guy we
I
haven't
know.
mentioned. I
I
mean,
know.
is he a playable commodity instead of Tatum?
I think he could be. Looking at his numbers, I mean, pretty consistent this entire series.
Yeah,
Doesn't quite get the peripheral stats, but he also doesn't get Butler defense.
that's right.
Um, so yeah, I think it's an interesting call. Certainly, if you want to try and fit in, if you want to go with somebody like a Horford in your captain position and Butler, I don't think
Right,
you can fit into Tatum. So
right.
yeah,
And that's
and I
that's
think
the
I think
direction I'm
he'll be
going.
a little lower owned.
Yeah. It's
I
so
like the
hard. I
coach.
mean, this series has been so tough, and this game is so tough. There's no rhyme or reason. And we talked a little bit about this the last podcast is, normally we build, at least I build one lineup, maybe two at the most, and pound it in cash and single entry and everything. But there's a couple of variance twists here where this really is another spot to build 4 or 5 lineups,
I think
shuffle
you
it a
need to.
bit so that you get that right combo,
Yeah, I think that's right. I think you need to stick with, kind of make your play for who's going to be captain and go from there.
Yeah, yeah. What a game, though. I cannot wait to watch this
It's going to be
game.
awesome. Yeah, we're figuring out where we're going to watch it, and it should be really intense.
So little pressure here. So you're one guy that you have to have tonight, regardless of price. It's just I have to have this guy in my lineup.
Yeah, Butler.
Same here.
It's Butler.
The
Yeah,
one guy that you're going to fade that most people are probably going to play. How about you?
Um, that I'm definitely the one I'm definitely because I'm playing around with a couple things. The one I'm definitely going to fade is Robert Williams.
Okay. For me, it's Derek White. So, tempting
I
both
still
ways.
may
I
play.
get it.
Yeah, I still may play White. As the GPP player, there's a nice GPP with White at captain that gets both Butler and Tatum and some of the other good guys. So I may go for that and say, hey, maybe it is White again tonight. So,
Yeah.
but no, I respect that call though. I think there's a good chance. And again, to me, I would play White or Smart.
Right. Yeah. It's hard to play both because although they both played a ton of minutes together with
No, they
Williams,
did. They
they're
did.
fade
They did.
too. So,
But I just feel like if Smart's hitting his shots, the less of them are going to White,
right.
and maybe
No,
vice
I
versa.
agree.
So,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
about
I'm with
Butler's
you.
your one guy?
Yeah.
Butler's your guy.
I'm not saying as captain for sure,
Yeah,
but I don't see how you leave him out altogether. I mean, he's really now the way he's been, played this last game. It's like Luka.
yeah,
None of the other Mavs are good enough to even get close to that, and that's sort of the way the Heat are looking right now. So,
yeah.
yeah, we'll
It's
see. I
gonna be
mean, it's
interesting.
going to be a great one.
Awesome. Prize picks, eh?
Prize picks. I've got
There's a lot of
well,
good
first
ones
of
on Prize
all,
Picks.
let me share this. Jason Tatum is that taco pick, whatever they call it, giveaway. You get it's almost like getting 25 free bucks. You can put them in with whatever. It's projected points, a half a point. So Prize Picks throwing us a bone, giving us a free square on Tatum. So that's cool.
That is cool.
What else you got?
There's a lot of places to go tonight. I like a lot of things, which means none of them will hit. So my, I'm doing it again because it hit again. Jason Tatum over 3.5 turnovers. He had 7 last game. So I don't know why they don't adjust that, but I'll keep taking it.
That's like 5 out of 6, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's fantastic. As much as I love Butler, I also love Tatum. And I just think Tatum, 27.5 real points. I think he gets over 30. It's a game 7. He's their best player. I think it's a shootout, Tatum and Butler. I mean, I think they both score a lot. And I like that 27.5 real points over Jason Tatum.
I like that too.
Yeah.
My next one is Jimmy Butler over 2.5 blocks and steals. I think he's extremely active. Like, that's his game. And he did it the last game. I like that one.
I do. I'm going Al Horford over 8.5 rebounds. Yeah. Like I say, I haven't projected at 11 or 12. And so that's a pretty big gap. I think he gets massive minutes. And I think he has a better game. And even if he's not scoring it as well, he's still rebounding and defending and doing all that stuff.
Yeah, that was my third pick as well. So I like that one a lot. Yeah.
I stole it, huh?
I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I did have sort of back there. I can't play them both, but I did have Jimmy Butler under 2 turnovers.
Okay. That's gutsy.
Yeah, it's a little gutsy, but he just doesn't turn the ball over.
No.
So if you look at his last games, let's see, take a look.
The efficiency level is just off the charts.
Oh, it's unreal, right? So his last 5 games, 1-0, 1-0-1-0. He had 1 game against Boston where he had 3.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
My last prize picks pick is going to surprise you because we both dogged him. But I'm going Bam Adebayo over 3 free throws made because they have to go to him some in the paint. And I think with Horford and Williams' defense so strong, I think he'll draw some fouls and get to the line. I mean, even if he has just an average game, I think he gets to the line. And he's a pretty good foul shooter.
Yeah, definitely. That's a gutsy call, though.
It is. It is. But right. I mean, this is going to be grit and grind. You're going to see a lot of stuff in the paint, a lot of drives. I think you're going to see less threes than normal because it's every possession counts. It's going to. So that's my contrarian prize.
That's contrarian. I like it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. I guess that's it. I mean, hopefully it helped. I mean, I know we usually are much more clear and
decisive.
And decisive, but it's just, I don't, if anybody's telling you that, they got to be kidding, because this series is one for the record books. Every single game, it's like, something out of the woodwork that you didn't expect, and the other team doing it, or who knows. But the bottom line is, I hope it's a down to the wire game. It would be wonderful to see those last possessions make the difference.
It's gonna be real fun. Yeah,
it's gonna be fun. Well, thank you for the bonus slate on the road. I know it's difficult when you're traveling, so really appreciate it. I know the listeners, we get all the great Deb fan club stuff. So
keep the comments coming. Let's have some fun with this.
Absolutely. Let us know what you think. Put your 2 cents in there. I'll be watching on the premiere here when it posts. So check all of that out. And then it's going to be a lot of fun on Wednesday. Thursday starts the finals, but on Wednesday, Crash and Deb and I are going to do a preview of the series and then game 1 as well. So that ought to be fun.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah.
We can all 3 have a crying towel because no Suns, Bucks, or Mavericks made it.
Right. Exactly.
But at least none of us will be partial. We'll all be able to share what we got. So, all right. Well, thank you, Deb. Have a great day there. I hope it goes well for you, and enjoy the game tonight.
Thanks. Yeah, everyone have fun tonight at the game.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining in. On the way out again, I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com. Use the promo code Coach Talk on that first deposit. They'll match you dollar for dollar, all the way up to $100. If you want to join us, get all of our lineups. We give a core for DraftKings, full lineups for Fanduel and Yahoo. Go to dfscoachtalk.com. If you want to catch us on Twitter, Deb, we are at DFS Coach Talk, and you are at
Deb Lutz 33.
Deb Lutz 33, and I am at Joe Sarvati. Again, you can catch all of our information at DFS Coach Talk. So Thank you so much, everybody, for listening in. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. Hit the subscribe button. And we'll be back this Wednesday with a 3-person booth, Deb and Crash and I, to look at the NBA Finals, which will be Golden State versus either Boston or Miami. Fun stuff. All right. Thanks again. Have a fantastic Sunday. Thank you again for tuning in. And we'll be back again on Wednesday when we look to crush it in NBA, DFS, and Prize Picks.